So I need to have the right permissions. Hold on a second.
Ah, shoot.
There should be an admin password in the front of that.
Really?
Any of the HPs on the floor.
Oh, I have to.
Is there an admin password on it?
User admin SPL133 L. You know that?
I did.
Is it administrator or is admin? Admin.
No, it didn't like me.
Username is just admin, not administrator.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll try it. Oh, what do you know? You guys are right.
Oh, great. GMB 133 XP2. What was it? He had the password as administrator, not admin.
That would be the password. That'd be
The username side, yeah.
So now I'm logged into this Windows machine, which is cool because now I can test Windows out from Linux, where I don't have to go switch back and forth, and you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. So I'm going to go to 72.16.0.193. This was working earlier. I promise. It was working earlier. Maybe. Huh. Maybe it hates me now. This is my IP address, right? One 172.16.0.193. We'll run Samba again. Oh, look at that. So it did work. We can see I have documents and homes shared, and it isn't liking either of them. But that's a lot farther than I got last week when it was just saying, like, not going to happen. And we can see here it failed because of permission denied, which actually is a good thing. Let's do a LL of. I'm actually going to create a directory in I don't have everything in the server directory, so I'm going to create a folder called share. And I forget, I think I called it Samba user, so we'll do a chown Samba user share. So now the Samba user has access to the share. I'm actually kind of redoing some of my configurations from last time, and I'll show you guys what I did in the configuration. It's etc samba smb.conf, and I made a couple changes, and these were entirely off of suggestions of the internet. When in doubt, just look at configs that work for somebody else and try them for you. Chances are they may work. I'm changing that to serve share. I'm going to keep all this the same, where public is yes, guest OK is yes. Now, the biggest change that I made to this that actually seemed to work very well is I did this map to guest equals bad user. I did not have any clue as to what this meant, and I'm still a little fuzzy, but we'll look at it here. So map to user, or map to guest. So there's this entire section here. It says map to guest. This parameter can take 4 different values, which tell SMBD what to do when user login requests don't match a valid Unix user in some way. which we were seeing last week in the logs. They weren't matching up with the user and giving access denied because the user was wrong. So I'm using this bad user, which says means user logins with an invalid password are rejected unless the username does not exist, in which case it's treated as a guest login and mapped to the guest account, which is where I was going last week and where I was wanting to get it to work. So it's working better on that front. So I've been starting Samba manually to the command line because it allows me a lot more real-time control, or at least not control, but seeing what's happening. Oh, excuse me. Tired. So now that's running again with that config change, and it worked. We have nothing here, but I'm going to create let's create a text document called I created this with Windows. I'm going to open it up and say something like Bill Gates rocks. And closing it, and it's there. And you can see it's doing a lot of stuff. I'm going to background this process. And I'm already in that directory. Well, I'm not in the directory, so I'm going to cd to it. And you can see it's there. And I'll do a cat. I created this with Windows, and it says Bill Gates rocks. So, I mean, you can see how this might be useful. If you're in a small network and you can't afford or don't want to pirate Windows on your server, well, you can run Linux and still be able to serve out files to Windows systems. And this is, Windows. Let's, just in case someone doesn't believe me, this is Windows 7 Enterprise. This is another system here in the lab that I remoted into using a remote desktop. So, makes it pretty handy. So, very simply, what I did was to fix it, just to kind of recap. And I don't even know, honestly, I'm going to keep playing with these settings because I don't think I need some of this stuff. I'm going to rerun Samba. Yeah, it looks like that works. So let's go back to configuration and get rid of stuff I don't need. I'm just deleting these lines so it makes it easier to read. And once you create your initial configuration, you don't really need this stuff. It's handy if you ever want to go back and edit anything, but we never make mistakes, right? So you get it working, you go forward, right? Sound good to everybody? Geez, there's a lot here. 117 to 102, so B10D, B10D, B10D. Man, there's a lot here. B10D, D. So I'm just, like I said, getting rid of these comments. I'm going to keep that one because that makes some sense. Just get it down to what is needed. to work so you guys can see this. Which after we get rid of all of the duplicate and useless stuff, we're left with a pretty small file. So there we go. That is the entire file. Oh, we got this crap.
Don't do a lot of comments.
Well, honestly, they're awesome, and I can't fault these guys for putting these comments in here, but they make it really hard to read a full configuration because you have to scroll through a bunch of crap. There we go. That's the entire file. 38 lines. And so that's it for that. I'm actually kind of disappointed. I thought that was going to take me a lot longer. Crap, 15 minutes in and I'm already ahead of the game.
We're gonna really work past that.
Yeah, we did play that early on.
We got to
We did split last.
it. I don't know what else to do.
So one of the things, and I talked about this last week a little bit, but for those of you who get ambitious, not only can you do file sharing with, hopefully this is still working. Yeah, okay. Not only can you do file sharing with Samba, but you can also do a domain controller. Oh, don't unplug that. The USB. Oh, yeah. Oh, because if you unplug your USB while you're running, it'll fork everything, which usually is not good. Anyway, so Samba can also be used as a domain controller, which if you guys have ever done anything with Windows networks, when you set up Windows servers, the key component to most Windows systems in the Windows network environment is the domain controller, because it stores user accounts, it stores computer accounts, it does Kerberos authentication across the entire network, DNS resolution, everything. And Samba can do it. So if you guys, so the assignment really is to get Samba working. And, you know, if you pause the video at this point, look at this config, and make yours nearly identical, it will work for you. All you have to do is go to a Windows system, see if you can connect to the IP. Important to note that what this requires is your firewall to be down and SE Linux to be in permissive mode. So if you want to change SE Linux to be in permissive mode, you do set enforce equals 0, or just set enforce 0. And then to take down your firewall, you do a systemctl stop firewall D. Mine's already stopped, so it did nothing fairly fast. It can take a couple seconds to shut down the firewall completely. And I did these two things, and then I did a systemctl start SMB. Hopefully, yeah, I killed it there. So now Samba's running. And then with that configuration, I can go to documents here, and I see I created this with Windows, and I can edit it. And change it to say Steve Ballmer rocks. 2 L's or 1? I forget.
I think it's just one.
I think it's 2. I know this is a Linux class.
It's
It is 2. Ah, I was right the first time. This guy was a former CEO of Microsoft. and one of the reasons why I switched to using Linux in the first place. So he warrants mention. This guy is nuts, and I'm not meaning that in like a good way. I think he did a lot of bad things for Microsoft, and I really wish he was still CEO, because I would really like to see Microsoft fall as a company. But Satya Nadella is actually, this guy is incredibly competent, and I have actually a lot of respect for him. And I'm a little disappointed because, well, honestly, I kind of hate Microsoft. So, you know, seeing someone who's competent and can do their job really well kind of is, it's disappointing, really, honestly. But he's interesting story. My boss actually worked very briefly with Satya Nadella. My boss used to work at Microsoft. So anyway, where was I? Domain controller. Samba 4. Now, I really wouldn't recommend this for, I don't know, production use, because if you're in a business and you really want to have Active Directory, you should have Active Directory. But maybe if your business is primarily Linux-based and you need like to support a couple of systems that are Windows, go for it. But in the business world, this is not really going to happen often. But here's an example of, you know, how to set up an Active Directory domain controller with Samba. I have done this once, and I think it would be cool to do. I don't know that I'll have enough time tonight, but I don't really have anything else going on to show you guys. Cacti wouldn't be too bad. Cacti, I don't really like in comparison to. We could do Cacti. Cacti is out of date. Like they haven't updated in years. So one of the ideas was to go over Cacti. And Cacti is a monitoring tool, which if you're doing systems administration, Cacti is awesome. The problem with Cacti is if you look at the latest news here, fairly active in 2012, sort of. And then 2013, there was one thing, and so far, well, there was one thing in 2014, and you're talking like it was 8.8 released in 2012 and 8.8c released in November of 2014. So it's kind of slowed to a halt. Now, Cacti is pretty cool about what it can do, but there are some more interesting monitoring solutions like Shinken monitoring. This is probably a little more complex than I want to get into here in the class, but monitoring systems is incredibly important because say you're going into an organization and you deploy an application like a web server, and instead of them calling you and saying, hey, the web server's down, you can have a monitoring system like this say, hey, I'm going to check your web server every minute to see if it's running. And if it's not, I'll send you an email. And so you can know that something is either running or not running before a customer may complain. Any business really, or any large open source project or something on the internet, or say you run something on the internet, like I know a few people who run, like game forums or clans online. Well, they want to know when something's down so they can go fix it. Like I have a Minecraft server and I don't monitor it, so it goes down all the time and it stays down for weeks on end because I don't get in there that often to fix it. But if I set something like this up, I could and be able to go in and restart my Minecraft server. And this is a really cool system, and I really like it, but it requires knowledge of how to set some stuff up in terms of configurations, and also like you have to kind of know a little bit about how monitoring works anyway, and why. And this is probably one of the biggest things is number one, relax. It takes some time. So don't expect to be able to get things working exactly the way you want them right off the bat. And this is probably one reason why I'm not going to do it in class. So you guys are off the hook on that. Cacti, I'm not going to go over. Oh, you know what I think we should do is webmail. Webmail is cool. I don't know if I want to do that this week or next week. I'm thinking.
No, wait until next year. But I know that did take us a lot out of last year.
Yeah, setting up a not a web server, but a webmail server is pretty cool. I'll do a little preview of it. Zarafa is what I've used in the past. And Zarafa is pretty cool because it looks exactly like Outlook. So this is Zarafa. It's in a web browser, but I don't know if you guys have ever used Outlook, but this is as close as you can get without it being like saying copyright Microsoft. And it's free. You can set up your own webmail server. So say you buy a domain, and you do like me, and you buy a domain, you buy a VPS, a virtual private server, and you have it run Fedora, like I do, and you want your own mail server. You want to get mail through that. Well, all you have to do is go set up a server, set up your Linux server and install Zarafa on it, and it's good to go. Now, one of the problems we had last year, and I'm going to do a little bit of checking on this, it had a problem with MariaDB. MariaDB, if it doesn't support it, we're not going to be able to use it because the default in Fedora, I think 19 plus, is using MariaDB. It looks like Fedora 19 Zarafa, it's closed, and they fixed it, and this is obviously old information. They fixed it on July 27th of 2014, so last year. Awesome. So we should be able to do that, which sounds awesome. What else can we do with Samba really quick? You can also use it. I forgot to mention.
Since we know what Samba, why not go and have a box and get on my own something like that?
Yeah.
You
I don't
know?
know.
Want to teach people that?
No.
That's what I'm doing.
That's a Monday night project. Samba can not only just be used for files, but it can be used for printers too. So say you have a Windows printer. We don't have any printers in the lab here, but if I did, I could plug a printer into my Linux box, and all the Windows clients here could connect to it and print to it from my Linux machine. And vice versa. I can connect through Samba on the Linux machine to a Windows server that had a printer hooked up into it. In fact, if we go, I'm going to go over printing. I'm going to yum search system -config -printer, I believe. And occasionally my memory works. So I'm going to install system config printer, which is actually kind of nice in that it's a GUI where we can add a printer. And right here under network printer, right there, Windows printer via Samba. And so if I had a printer hooked up to this, actually, let's see if I have any because sometimes there's like a XPS printer. Let's share it. I hate that. I want to go to printer properties. Why can't I just go to properties to get it? It's so dumb. Sharing. Ah, darn. Oh. Maybe. Come on. Can I share it? Yeah. I don't know why I would want to share Cinco OneNote, but I just did. So let's look. I can do SMB. What's my IP address on this? I don't remember. I think it's 50. Yeah, 172.16. 16.0.50 slash net send to OneNote 2010. So let's see if this works. Print a test page. Now, dude. There were spaces in it, so I'll try that. Apparently, it doesn't like me. Why can't I just do it? I want to do it. It would be helpful if I had. No, it does not like me. Let's try printing something from print. I'll be impressed if this works. I doubt it will because it's it's not a real printer. Although somehow that worked. If it's in OneNote, I'll be impressed. Oh no. I just want to do something. What? All right, let's try that again. Well, it's not spooling up, so that's not a good sign. Switch you to 16.0.50. Huh. No, I wanted printer properties. There we go. I wonder why it hates me so much. Try it once more, and if that doesn't work, we'll call it that. Yeah. Client error document format not supported. Let's just do a HP. Let's say it's an HP LaserJet 9040. Don't know why I just picked that, but cool. Huh. Well, it didn't work, but it did something. So there's that. Huh. Well, it didn't work. That's okay. It will work with real printers. I promise. I've done it. Of course, I've done this before and it didn't work. So don't believe me. I don't know what I'm talking about. So that's all I have for this week. I'm sorry. I kind of went, I got it all done very quickly, but it should work. We'll do a email server next week. And then, I don't know, how many more weeks are there before finals? Okay, so we got a few weeks. I'd like to start prepping a final project, and I'll probably be starting on that. And maybe I do go through the Active Directory server with you guys, so that we can see how it's set up and maybe go through it. I think it'd be cool. But maybe not. I'm gonna do some digging. I'm gonna do something unique this year, though. Something different that I haven't done in years past. So that's it for this week. Sorry I didn't go. I'm not really sorry I didn't go very long. You guys are probably happy that it's a shorter video. So we will talk to you guys next week.